Welcome back to Blind Skies Reviews. In this video, we're going to do a little something different. Someone asked me about these Tank Hunter figures, how well they scale with other of Joytoy's military figures, and some other offerings, non-Warhammer, obviously. So, in this video, it's going to get crazy with a lot of figures. Obviously, it's not all my figures because it would take me all day long to set these up. So I'm going to do, about a dozen or so comparisons. And just for fun, I did come across two very rare Joytoy figures, very popular, very sought after. I'll show you those two. I really wish I could bring all my figures out from the ones I've had for a long time, but I do recommend you guys checking out, like a long time ago, a few years ago, some of those military figures are fantastic. Hopefully someday I'll be able to get them all out and just do one big video, but for now this will have to do. So this is going to get tight. There's only so much space here, and definitely keep everything in within focus. First up, obviously, probably the most important is to see how well they compare with the Corvus Building Infinity Marauders Ranger unit. So let's start there and let's get into it. So you can see here we have the 3 male, 1 female. The Marauders Ranger unit is all straight up males, heavy armored. Let me go ahead and bring one in, and you can take a look and see what I'm talking about. Here he is. Looks good. So I will remove this guy for a second, and we will put him beside us. You can see the height and how well they look. Obviously, the Marauder Ranger unit is more of a desert deco versus the green, straight-up military of the Tank Hunter unit. Looks pretty cool. So you can see pretty much how they compare there. Some of the other ones are kind of like this guy. And then if you want to just for fun, bring him back in, kind of show how he compares. If I can get him to stand, there we go. Trying not to get a dominant effect here. And then if you want to, let's bring that female up here. And you can see how well she'll fare against one of the other members right here. So let's move him back out the way. And we'll bring in the last member. Kind of give you an idea with the female, this guy. I've not pre-prepped these guys to stand, so I'm worried about those things falling. So it's interesting. We can bring him forward versus a big, the Juggernaut type of guy. Look at that. The dominoes have fallen. Anyway, that's how those guys fare. They're pretty much the same overall, but they have their differences. If you check out the review for those, you'll be able to see. So I'm going to go ahead and get these guys back up on their feet, and we're bringing in some more of Joytoy's military figures. Alright, so there are those two units side by side, and that's how they compare. The Marauders look pretty much the same size as the 3 males, except for maybe the Juggernaut one in the corner here, and obviously the female. But other than that, you can see they look fantastic together. Alright, so I want to start bringing in my Spartan squad. Here is my first member. Looks pretty cool. Love these guys. Now, you can see he's kind of a mix between, what's interesting is the color pattern here. His green and his tan pretty much is a cross between these two units. What do you guys think? That looks pretty amazing, right? Alright, so I'll bring in my second member of my Spartan squad. There he is. See how well he scales and matches up with the overall color palette. And I'm telling you what, boys, these guys look pretty spot on. That looks incredible. Alright, so I had to pull out my very first two members of my Spartan squad because I have to put two more members in. Now, there was only three figures for the Spartans that they came out with, but the third figure that I'm going to show you came with an alternate head. And so I bought the original three, and then it didn't have alternate head. So later on, I caught one on sale. So I bought another one for the alternate head sculpt. That had a body for my alternate head sculpt to add a four-member unit. It's probably one of the more reused heads with Joytoy, but it looked pretty awesome, and I couldn't turn it down for the price. And there they go. So I'm gonna have to fix that real quick. All right, there they are. The two in the middle are the same figures, but they come with that alternate head sculpt, like I spoke of before we had our domino disaster. You see how cool they are. Just same bodies, just alternate heads, and that's an entire another figure. Very cool. But I guess the best thing to see here, like I said, is the mix between the tans and the greens. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and take out the Marauder team. That way you can see how well the greens all go together if you want to mix a Spartan team with the tank killer team. And there they are, looking beautiful. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is just go ahead and throw on this guy's over the top helmet that he comes with, so you can see how well that looks. All geared up with all the other troops with the protective headwear on. Obviously, we know kind of what that looks like, a Mandalorian type of helmet. Both really cool. They all say Sparta on it. So, that looks beautiful. That looks amazing. They work very well together. Definitely could even make that one unit if you wanted to. Now, Joytoy military figures very rarely come with names, so I'm going to show you one just for comparison. This is going to be Gregson. You bring him in, he has his helmet on. His helmet is removable. He has an alternate helmet. You can see even the greens on this one is pretty close. The pads are a little lighter, but we can see how well that kind of comes together with them. And then I can bring in one of the Marauders. It's getting very congested here over all these figures. So how those compare. Looks awesome. So I'll go ahead and leave one of the Marauders figures in, and Gregson, and we'll see what else we got. Alright, so here's another one of our nameless characters here. He does come with a ball cap, but I'll leave his head so you can see his head sculpt. You can see how well he compares with the other guys. Alright, so we're bringing his team member. This is a team of 3. We're going to start getting away from the green that we're used to seeing so far, and getting into a little bit more of a different color palette. See if I can bring him out here. Yeah, there. I moved Gregson out just a little bit and bring up that Tank Hunter figure because that's what everybody's interested in. You see how well these two work. These guys have another team member. Normally there's usually a release of 3 or 4 of a kind of a unit, I guess. I kind of put them together on my own. So kind of like how they fit, because usually when they release them, it's overall same kind of aesthetic, just a little bit of a different head sculpt and maybe some different gear, or maybe like a tactical vest. Alright, attempting to bring in their last member. He is actually fully disguised. He comes with a balaclava wrapped more mask. He kinda, it looks like a terrorist. You could use him, I guess, if you wanted to, but for me, they're just my military units because he kind of goes with these guys, so they're not really hiding their face. It's just more of a tactical presence. So I'll go ahead and attempt to move him back, bring in Gregson for some comparison. So let's remove Gregson out of there and say You know, this guy, for example. And I'm going to bring in a diver. The very first release, he has the green versus the, we'll talk about the new one here in a sec. Because I do want to talk about something else in this video. That's kind of like a heads up for you guys. But that's the diver, the very first release. He has a lot of gear. Very cool. I love the green and black. Looks fantastic. Here is this guy right up front. Looks pretty good. Because I think there's some confusion with some people when they buy in their Joytoy figures. Like, here's a comparison with the female up front with those. So the next figure I'm going to bring in is last year's one. The only one I bought, I believe, last year's what they call the yearly army builder packs. I got him because he looked pretty good. I don't even know where to start with this, but this is something I don't think anybody really knows. Kind of found out on my own, for my own personal collecting. But that guy is last year's yearly army builder offering. So I think last year, after about 7 figures in this new thing they started in 2023, where they offer what they call inexpensive army builder figures. And basically what that is they take all the figures that they've ever done, they kit bash them, and then they paint them whatever aesthetic that they feel, they want to do. So here's what's happening with some of those. Now, you probably ask yourself, why I only have one of last year's yearly offering out of 7 is because, for one thing, in 2023, the head sculpts that they use were questionable with some of the other characters. They cut under the chins look absolutely ridiculous. And so, because when they do the yearly ones, they kind of just kit bash them and throw the parts together. But when they actually create a team, like the Tank Hunter team, the Marauder team, my Spartan team, these guys and Gregson, they're designing these figures. There you go. They're new parts. They took the time mostly to get those to work. And then those figures are offered to you at a premium. You're talking like 29, 35, 38 bucks, depending on, if it's just a military figure versus somewhere they get to pay royalty to, like, Corvus, Billy, Infinity, or whatever else, like the Warhammer figures. So they can't go and provide, that kind of QA for these yearly figures. So you're going to have, issues with those. So knowing that, when you guys buy any of the 2024 yearly armor builders, expect to have, parts that don't work, especially with the crotches and the legs, because there's not enough spacing. I'm betting they're sitting down, I don't know for sure, with a computer, and they're just like, okay, let's take this piece, put it with this piece, and then immediately look good, let's paint it this color, bam, there it is. Because the quality is definitely not there with all the other figures I showed you, except for this guy, because he has, he looks good. But one of my figures is, and you move, because of the crotches on this guy, he kind of, the leg falls off, because there's not enough space in there. But it goes back on. It stays there, but moving it around a lot. And I've seen that with a lot of the Joytoy figure offerings. Now, for 2024, there's a couple of them I got my eye on. There's 2 of them that use the Tank Hunter bodies right there. So you probably can be guaranteed that those will be pretty good for 20 bucks. But the other ones are questionable. Now, I decided to buy one so far, and it's still leading up to my absolute, probably favorite Joytoy figure, military figure that I have, which is the 2 special ones I wanted to show you. These 2 figures are actually pretty rare. The first one, here we have this guy. He's absolutely beautiful. Now this guy is my Enforcer. He's from the Skeleton Forces Shadow Wing figure set. Well, he comes by himself, but there's 2 of them, and which is going to lead me into my very absolute favorite figure so far in my Joytoy collection. He's quite beautiful, and You really can't show this figure off. The armor here, this coloring is a pearl grayish, is absolutely stunning in hand. I don't know if it comes across on the video as well, because in the product images I was like on the fence with this guy, but once I had this figure is insane. One of my favorite figures. Wish I could army build him, but they are pricey, which leads me into my next figure, which is awesome. Now, he is the one that they copied some of the parts from for the 2024 Army Builder set that I chose to get. I'll be doing a review for that one here. I think it's due to show up this week sometime, but none other than the Skeleton Forces Shadowwing Hunter action figure. Now, you've probably seen this guy in the new 2024 armor building offerings. But you're definitely going to get the helmet, maybe the vest, but you're not going to get the lower body of these figures. This is what I'm talking about. So you get this kind of premium figures when you pay premium prices. I mean, it's just kind of a law of the action figure world. He's absolutely stunning. He's beautiful. I love the green, the shininess, the orange that they use is just evil looking. And that overall head sculpt is just insane. Now I can automatically see when I looked at that figure he used, it's more dingy, kind of like this guy. So much, just a matte kind of plastic. Nothing is, extravagant about it. It's just their version of a Jeep Army Builder, which last time I checked, $20 wasn't cheap for a 1/18 Galaxy figure. I remember getting there with some of the other offerings like Star Wars Vintage Collection, but I mean, they should function. So I guess the moral of the whole yearly offerings is to be careful. Try to do your research. See what it's hard. I know. You can even paint something a different color and don't know what legs they're using, what arms, chests, etc. they're using on these figures, and if the parts actually work. The biggest problem is the heads, the legs, and crotches. If they use the wrong crotches with the wrong legs and they just fall off, there's no room. Or the head sculpts don't work on some of the overall figures. Like you see massive gappies under the chin, and they just look like a chicken neck with a head stuck on it. So that's the best advice I can give you. It's not set in stone or anywhere. You just gotta, I guess it comes down to what you like and what kind of quality you care about in your overall presence of your figures. Alright, so we got a full room here. We've been about 18 minutes of this. Like I said, it could take me all day to do this with my other Joytoy figures, military figures, which I have some amazing sets from when they first started doing this. But these are the more recent ones that has been offered, minus obviously the two more exotic ones that are hard to come by, but that's how they compare. I mean, basically they're all the same height. You can see they use the same kind of colors in some of the figures, but that's how they match up. So overall, there's a sky view of them. Hopefully that helps you guys somewhat answer your question on how they compare with other figures and other offerings from Joytoy. So, and I remember a subscriber reaching out and asking me about that. So if you are watching this, there you go. Hope this helps you. Whatever what you're looking for there, I guess. So I hope you guys like this review and this overall look at some of the Joytoy military figures that's currently out there. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Hit that notification bell. Let me know what you think. And we'll see you in our next review.